The Heresy Accountabilibuddies Podcast is dedicated to all things Horus Heresy. This podcast delves into the grimdark universe where Primarchs clash, legions rise, and loyalties fracture faster than a Land Raider's track. But it's not just about the lore of the Horus Heresy. The Accountabilibuddies also explore the gaming side of things, from painting and modeling tips to product reviews and ideas to help you in your hobby. So, whether you're a seasoned Forge World veteran or a fresh-faced scout, this podcast is your Vox channel to the galaxy. Expect discussions on lore, modeling, gaming, and maybe even the shenanigans that your hosts somehow seem to find their way into. Remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there are only two things you can count on: heresy and your trusty Accountabilibuddies.
And welcome to episode 141 with the Heresy Accountabilibuddies Podcast, where I just started this podcast without telling anybody, and we may have been talking about seashells. 3 of them. If you get the reference, you're cool. If you don't, well, you're not that cool. But before we get too far, I'm Jack with my fellow host of...
Brian.
Duncan.
The 3 seashell master, Jamie.
And John. I think they were buttons.
And Jack. So, before we get even further down the rabbit hole of she-cells and how Taco Bell is obviously the superior fast food joint, we're going to kick it over to a quick station identification. And thank you to our patrons. Oh,
Do you love resin bases? Then go to our sponsor, Elric Hobbies, for all of your basing and basing accessory needs. Use code HERESYABB at checkout for a discount. Legendary Monument Hobbies. Monument Hobbies is a one-stop shop for all of your painting needs. Use code HERESYABB at checkout for a 5% discount on your purchase. Pop Goes the Monkey. Find maker of third-party accessory bits of arms, legs, backpacks, and more, where you can get 10% off your first order over $125 with code HERESYABB at checkout.
The UK.
Oh, Jesus, what?
It was Pizza Hut in the UK.
And thank you to our patrons that help supply us and Taco Bell and Pizza Hut, even though Pizza Hut no longer makes their deep dish pizza fresh in-house. It's now a frozen product that is not very good and makes me sad. But I digress. John, you know what to do.
On tonight's episode, we have snapping turtles.
We won't bring up the turtles again. So I went through and built all the gnarl wood terrain that I had laying around. I'd been to a couple of events and people have been selling the Warcry sets pretty cheaply, and so I picked up probably like 3 or 4 box sets worth of that stuff. And I got all that assembled this week. They came over yesterday, and I was able to get all the gap filling done, and then went outside and primed it all. So I've got almost an entire full extra table now of terrain ready to set up and kind of get going for my January event. As I work through and paint the rest of it, I'm currently on a work trip this week, but I've got some free time in the evening, so I'm working on building a Valdor Tank Hunter and Malkador Infernus, just building the track systems as we're talking tonight. What about you, Jamie?
I have started up soccer season, so my hobby time has become extremely limited. But I was able to start working on basing the Titan. And so I got like the first layer mud down, and I got some base rocks down. The lower half of the Titan is actually secured to the base. It's got screws in its leg, the bottom of its feet, and then the peg up its let's call it its derriere. So it ain't moving. But the first I had went through like 2 of the 250 ml tubs of basing mud on it. So needless to say, even without the top half of the Titan, it weighs a lot. But I've been working on getting like little grubbins and broken bits and stuff like that to put on the base to paint out. And so like there's some wrecked tank parts, like tread, like a whole set of treads from Sarkarians, and there's some las cannon, like double las cannons, and marine backpacks and weapons and that kind of stuff. I'll finish painting all that up once I get where I want them finished, and then I'll remud kind of over the top of some of them so they're not just like sitting on the top. They're kind of sunken down a little bit, and then I'll paint it all a bit more too. So that's what that, and I also got in some what do you call them? The little rapier batteries. I got like 6 rapier batteries in. So I'm very happy about that because I've got a new army I'm planning, and they're potentially very evil. So how about we go to Brian?
Been pretty quiet for me. I broke the demons back out, gave them 1 game so far just to see how they go, and we can talk about that later. It was interesting. I've been helping my oldest son build his first new model, Contemptor Dreadnought. He's been very excited about that. And that's about all I've been up to. How about you, Duncan?
Well, I finished my my Predator tank for the Night Lords. That's done. And I have the only thing I haven't done yet on the Demolisher is I haven't put the seal down on it and started with my decals. I was going to do that this weekend, but other stuff got in the way. That other stuff being predominantly Borderlands 4. So I will fully admit that is my error. But it's been a fun error. Go ahead, Jack. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask a question, but then I knew the answer to it because the lead developer said that it was going to be $100, but the actual publisher said it was going to be like a more reasonable $60.
It was 60.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it pre-ordered a while back, but it was worth it. It's fun. I'm enjoying it.
There's a bunch of them already been released.
No, I'm not. So I wouldn't use shift code. Well, I would use shift codes to get stuff at the end game, but I'm only level 15. I'm going through and enjoying the higher end graphics compared to the other games and everything else. But we're not here to talk about that. Beyond that, no, nothing else. Jack, what have you done this whole week?
Well, I have never played a Borderlands game ever, so I continue to not do that. And then I want to say after that, I kicked it over to John to talk about the news because I have no time.
Well, you'd be kicking it over to Jamie because John doesn't have all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Sadly, Jamie's doing the news this week.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe if somebody let the producer know what's going on.
We were talking about it before you got on, Jack.
Do you
Sorry.
think I was listening to you?
No,
No, we all know you don't listen any more than any of the rest of us do.
Do you have a screen to share?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Hold on one second.
Okay. This is a brave new world. Don't you dare close your eyes. I'm putting in filler so there's not dead space. I'm singing to you, my crew, out in the world. Something, something, something. A whole new world. Here's a stream for you to watch.
Okay.
We
Do
have
your job now
We've got
and become
GW.
a singer, Jack.
We've got the GW releases. So this week we had the Chaos Dwarves or the Hellsmiths came out, and some of them were kind of cool. I will admit that. And then you also had some more. It's all Age of Sigmar type stuff. Some of it was cool, and there's also some cool Necron bits that came out. The Palatine Enforcer captains and sergeants.
Yeah, that'll be really handy when we talk about militia in a bit.
Yep, they have dogs. That's all you need to know is robo dogs. That's and they have shotguns too. And
If no good boy in 40K, why team have good boy?
Yep, they're pretty cool. So they should all be on my screen right now. Yeah, and the Palatine stuff is all pretty cool. It kind of maybe a little bit Elysian drop troop vibe a little bit with them. And then more stuff for Ashen Waste and Necromunda. 40K, there was a bunch of print-on-demand Space Wolves, like the old out-of-production model kits. We know plenty of people that are Space Wolf honks that will love them. Black Library, you had a new Sisters of Silent, or it's not Silent, Sisters of Battle book that came out. Okay, and then going to the pre-orders for this week, we got heavy metal. We get some gnarly heavy metal. We got the Fellblade. Yeah. The new style Fellblade plastic. Comes with a bunch of sponsored weapons, and I think it's the first time we're seeing the laser destroyer actually in plastic for a sponsored weapon on tanks. Which, you know, everybody's kind of had questions about it. We also have the weird heavy bolters where the guns actually feed through the bottom layer of the bolters, actually go through the feed belts into the hopper for the top ones, which, okay. Cool looking tank. We have the prices on everything. Very expensive. It's $210. So,
and that's US, right?
Yep, that's US.
Here are the prices.
Canada's $250.
Yep, Canada's $250. US it's $210, and that's just the Fellblade. That's not a dual kit with the Fellblade and Fellgal, which they've kind of stuck pictures of it in as well. What else? There's a bunch of Heresy stuff this week. So Mark II assault squads. I know we were all kind of drooling over that when they previewed them. They've got the turbofan back. They've got the big axes. They've got is it combat shields, I believe, and maces and pistols, and their Mark IIs, heavy armor. So
yep.
They're all kinds of goodness. I'm happy with that.
And from what I understand, all the axes are right-handed and all the pistols are left-handed.
I believe that's correct. I think the maces are also right-handed, and the shields may be left-handed, I think.
The shields are interchangeable with the pistols.
Yeah.
So they're both left-handed.
You can finally do destroyer squads if you buy one Mark VI and one Mark II.
Yep.
Or, well, you could get in touch with somebody with a 3D printer, but you didn't hear that from me. Anyways, moving on. So we finally get the second Journal Tactica. I don't know how many people got the first one. I did personally. There wasn't a whole lot rules-wise in there. If you're a collectionist, it was good, especially if you're into fluff. It had a lot of fluff on the drop site. So I would kind of expect this new Journal Tactica, which is the Forges of Saturn, which primarily deals with the Saturnine equipment. Let's call it that. It'll probably be around the same lines. You'll have maybe a couple new you'll have 3 to 5 new rule sets for units, and then you'll have a couple placed what do you call them, mission objective type things, and a lot of fluff. So if it doesn't have a whole lot of play wise, it doesn't have a whole lot of substance for it, but if you're really
for event organizers, this one's going to be really handy, because I'm kind of curious to see where GW takes some of their mission writing. I mean, the other one was basically the same thing as we currently got, and they even gave away the mission for free that was in it. This is the one that's got the Saturnine Command Squad, as well as the Word Bearers Saturnine unit that they kind of previewed.
Word Bearer Demon Possessed Saturnine Terminators, from, I think is what the description is. And there's also a Thousand Sun specific Prosperine Arcania, which I think is a Saturnine Terminator as well, or it might be a Big Dread. I don't know offhand, but it goes into more stuff about the drop site massacre, specifically with the Salamanders and the Death Guard. Okay.
Yep.
So could be pretty cool.
And it has 3 extra missions tacked into it.
And it also goes into the Saturnine specific for the other non-Salamander legions, for like the other 17 legions. So you could get some pretty cool paint. They'll probably have some pretty good artwork in it as well. And they have maps, because I know Duncan likes maps. They had a lot of maps in the first one. All right, so now we get the combat, I don't know, we call them combat forces, combat boxes. So there was 3 that they previewed, which kind of was a big surprise to everybody. The first one is the Marines one, which, I mean, though I'm not going to complain about it. It's a good starting point, especially for new players. Most of us probably not going to get a whole lot of use out of it unless we're
It's
building.
probably the only one that you can't buy like 3 of and make a decent army out of.
Yeah, I would agree. It's basically got like 2 Mark 6 boxes in it, a Leviathan Dread that has the autocannons and is it the Flux
Bombard.
Flux Bombard, and then it has a Rhino, a Demos Rhino, and it has like a heavy weapons kit. It looks like as well, like at least some of the sprue, maybe not the whole sprue. So it's a good force multiplier, but I would not say for experienced or people that already have big armies, it's going to be a whole lot of use. And I forgot. So all 3 of these boxes, they're all priced exactly the same. They're $170 in the United States. So
Okay, so is that a good deal? Are you saving any money buying them?
So 20 Marines, $90. Leviathan Dread is what, 115? Does that sound right?
So yes.
I think
75.
So you're
No,
getting
they're
a free
75.
Rhino.
You're basically getting like a free Rhino or a discounted Rhino, or like your free heavy weapon sprue or something like that. Next one is Mechanicum Combat Force. It has 6 of the Thalax Cohort Fort. Cohort. It has a pair of the Castellex Battle Autonoma. I can't even say all these
Automata.
stuff. And then it has a Thanatar Siege Autonoma. I know I've seen a lot of AdMech players that are really happy about this. It's kind of like I'm not going to say it's not a starter box per se. It's a build. It's the next step from
the supplemental box.
Yeah, it's like the next step up from where you would start with a box. And I think it was better. The last one we had was the heavy weapon, was like all the super heavy, beefy, like the missile tank and the big laser cannon plasma thing from the on the not the Castellex, the Thanatar, and then there was something else that was big in it too, which that was like all heavy support. So like if you could find one of those and this, you'd be going pretty good. The next one is the Solar Auxiliary Combat Force. I know John super happy about this, as are a lot of Solar Aux players.
This is a good box.
Yeah,
you could get like 3 of this box and have an amazing army.
Yep. So you got
There's
2
not
of the
enough
light
tanks.
set, correct? And then you've got a Lehman Russ Vanquisher, I believe. Is it a Vanquisher or a regular one?
I think it's the Vanquisher, but it's got a bunch of other guns in there too. So there's 2 classes of Russes. This is the support one.
So it's got the Lehman Russ Vanquisher, and then it's 20 20-man las rifle section, and along with the tactical command section, which is another 5 miniatures on top of the 20. So this is as John and Brian were saying, this is a very good box to get if you're trying to get into Solar Aux. Get like 3 of them and you're well on your way to an army.
Honestly, you could go with 6 of that box pretty easily, I think, depending on how you want your army to go.
True. You would start getting pretty a little expensive there, but yeah, I think it's a good box. And basically on most of these boxes, you're saving around, I think what I've seen is around $40 a box, basically, if you bought everything separately. So you're maybe getting like a Rhino or the Sentinels or something like that. Then you have some Middle Earth stuff. I'm not really going to go over it. Couple good books coming out. We have Eldar book, Voyage Guard. Then we have another cover of that. The one that I was the most interested in was the Remnant Blade for the Night Lords. I think it's still $40K, but it's Night Lord stuff. And then you have Eternal Darkness, which is a NIDS one, and then you have a Tau one, and then they go into the Warhammer Plus. I know late this evening, which was not shown, and it's not saying when they're coming out. They showed the new Calgor model, and was it Cato Sarkarius? And,
Yeah, and
Kato Securities.
the Victor's bodyguard.
Yeah, the Victrix. Yeah, those are all pretty cool, but $40K. Then we've got Scale 75. They're having 20% off sale on, what was it, the
Instant paint. So it's basically their contrast line is going to be 20% off for, I think it's like 16 days from time of recording. So if
Yeah.
you're looking to pick up some contrast paints and don't like the quality of GW ones, these are really good. I got the whole set when I did a Kickstarter a couple of years ago, and I've been using them pretty heavily. Unlike the GW Kickstarter paints or the GW contrast paints, these ones all seem to have the same color density. So with GW, sometimes like the red is a little brighter than the blues and things like that. These ones all seem to cover with one coat really well.
Then we've got finally a Space Marine plushie. That goes along with all the other plushies that are out there. I have a Watcher in the Dark that's got the
So I actually picked this up. It showed up at my comic shop, and I was picking up my comics. I was like, fuck it, I'll get it.
This looks big compared to the one that I have.
It is. The Space Marine head is like a pillow. And so I've been using it on my couch watching movies this week.
Oh, my kids would be all over that. Yeah, the ones I have are probably like 4 to 6 inches tall or something like that. So this is big at 14 inches. And it's also a bit expensive. The other ones are all about $15. Then we had Anvil Industries. More patron stuff. Looks like, do you know much about this, John? Looks like War II.
There's some World War I, World War II looking stuff from Anvil. They do a patron every month. You get a bunch of 3D files. You get a discount on their other 3D files that are out. I just thought this one looked kind of neat since we're going to be talking about militia. It's definitely a way for you to print a bunch of militia. And since you could really build your militia in any way you want to, whether you want 2 close combat weapons on everybody or if you want a decent fighting force of people, this is allow you to do either way with this file.
Yeah, this looks like English World War I with like the pot helmets and Bren, or not Bren, but Sten guns.
Yep. I also like how they really look like they would fit in for Trench Crusade as well, if anyone out there goes for that.
Yeah, they do. And well, there was a Space Marine 2 update this week, and then also there was a new the second year season pass came out for new DLC. So is that it, guys? Anything else?
That's really it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's about it.
Now I can turn off my screen.
Yay! No more screen share.
There we go.
Well, I guess that takes us to much of the meat and taters for the evening. John? Something new out recently, other than demons.
Yeah, so we want to push up covering the legions and cover militia this week. I've been going through and building a bunch of lists this week, trying to kind of wrap my head around it.
I built one.
Yeah, you guys didn't have to build lists. I just wanted you to like get an idea of what you would make a list using the providences. But when you start with militia, there's a couple rules that are kind of right off the bat. If you take the forest commander, you get an additional reaction point on top of the normal ones that you get for your building an army of your whatever size. But there's also 2 special rules that come along with militia. But regulars, which is most of the units that are in the army, you're going to want to check as you're building an army what models have irregulars and which ones don't. This allows you to score victory points, only 1 victory point for holding an objective, regardless if you have any tactical statuses or if there's anything else that may like prevent you from scoring the objective. The downside, though, is you also immediately are removed as a casualty if you touch the edge of the battlefield in like pretty much everything else in the game. So militia, as you kind of build your list, you're going to find out that you're not going to be scoring as many points as a lot of the other armies are with this irregulars rule, because damn near everybody has it. And so what you end up doing is kind of chipping away at the points values. I haven't sadly played a game with them yet, so I don't know how successful they're going to be competing with someone that's got like line 3 or something like that, when you're only scoring the 1 point at a time. Irregulars also, if you've got your statuses on there, it kind of overwrites the line. So you ignore that and just score the 1. The other rule that goes on all of their tanks that are in the army is called third line. And this is something we saw carried over from 2.0. Whenever you suffer a glancing hit, you lose a hull point in addition to any of the glancing hit standard effects. And then super heavies, because they already say that, suffer an additional hull point. So they take 2 hull points and then suffer this, whatever, status effect. The main thing that you're going to look at when building your army for militia is the providences of war. This is what really allows you to customize the militia army to kind of build how you want it. As it comes out of the box, you get 1 providence of war. And if you take the force commander, which you're going to most likely do, you get access to a 2nd providence of war. So I'm going to strap in, because there's about 8 pages of these things. I'm not going to go through and read all of them because we will be here all night and we won't be able to get to the units. But there's Abhuman Muster. This one modifies your base strength by 1, but also modifies your leadership by 1. And you could buy assault shields in the militia armaments rules. There's Alchem Jackers, which allows you to not take any negative modifiers to your cool checks when taking panic, pinning, stun, or suppressive checks. And then models can pay 1 point to take Friends on, which gives you hatred, infantry, cavalry, and automata, and heedless special rules. Armory of Old Knight allows you to improve your base armor save up to a maximum of 2+, as well as giving you the ability to take bulk heights on pistols, militia assault weapons, militia special weapons, and heavy weapons teams. Arms of the Omnissiah allows you to put last locks in the militia armaments and arc rifle in the special armaments, and also allows you access to the Krios battle tanks as a transport option, but they gain third line and get their ballistics reduced by 1. Augmented Levy. Everyone with irregulars gains the right of pure thought from the Mechanica, which is basically you don't take any tests at all. And then every model in the command troop unit gains repair automata special rules for +2 points per model. So if you want to take a Mechanicum Allies, they're one of your better ones. Cyber Aug Medics. Everyone with irregular special rule gains Eternal Warrior 1, and your base cool and base intelligence go up by 1. And then any model with the regular special rule and a command or sergeant type can have rad grenades for 5 points a model. Debased Rabble. This one's only for traders. Your base cool is modified by +1, but your base intelligence goes down by 1. And then militia melee weapons and officer melee weapons gain tainted implements. Feral Warriors. Everyone in the army, or irregulars, gain impact weapon skill special rule. And the models within irregulars within 8 inches of enemy units have to try to declare a charge. And you add paired close combat weapons to the militia assault and militia armaments weapons. Gene Crafted. This one allows you, irregulars gain the light subtype unless they have heavy. In that case, they just lose heavy. It adds needlers to pistols, assault weapons, special weapons, and heavy weapons. Imperial Provosts. This is what you'll probably use if you're looking at the RBDs guys. Everyone gains. You cannot have expendable X models. Your base cool is increased by 1. You get access to the Shock Maul as part of the officer's weapons, and you get access to the Weber as part of your special weapons. Industrial Levies. Irregulars gain move through cover, and you gain heavy industrial weapons and the assault weapons. Militia special weapons are mining lasers and seismic cannons, and militia heavy weapons are heavy mining lasers and heavy seismic cannons. Kinfolk Helots, if you want to do squats. Irregulars gain +1 to toughness, but have their movement modified by -1. And then Grenadiers can be upgraded to Exo Riggers for plus 8 points per model. They gain heavy, bulky 2, slow and purposeful, have a 3-up armor save, invul of 6-up, intelligence 7, and battlesmith 1 on the sergeant. And they can may exchange their militia rifle for one industrial heavy weapon for 8, or pair of industrial weapons for 10. Legacies of the Great Crusade. All models with the regulars gain that don't have expendable X gain +1 ballistic skill. You can swap out your militia armaments for a las rifle, and you gain the rotor cannon as a special weapon. Ogren conscripts. This one allows Ogren brute troop unit types to lose the heedless special rule if you have one model with instill order. And then every model with an assault shield can upgrade it to a boarding shield for +2 points. Survivors of the Dark Age. All your models with the vehicle type gain auto repair 5-up, and you can take rhinos and termites as transports, or Land Raider carriers as transports, minus their ballistic skill by 1, and they gain 3rd line. Tainted Flesh is another trader only. All models with the irregulars gain a Flame 1 and Impact 1, or Impact I special rules. And then you can take, if you take Rogue Psychers, you can take 2 Psychic Disciplines instead of just 1. Voidborn, all models with irregulars gain bulky. You can't. All models that are irregulars that are not bulky or expendable gain Infiltrate 18. Any recon troops can be, or command troops can be upgraded to Void Jumpers for +3 points. If they do that, they gain Anti-Grav, Bulky 2, Deep Strike, Firestorm at their base characteristics set, movement characteristics set to 10, and then they gain 2 militia pistols or 2 las pistols in the militia assault weapons list. Warrior Elite. All models with the irregular special rule have their leadership modified by +1 to a max of 9, and they can change their militia vexilla for an auxilia vexilla, which basically means you don't run away as much, for free. And then finally, Unending Horde. All models with the infantry type and levy troop type, or infantry troop and levy troops, gain Endless Horde on a 4-up, which basically allows you to bring the whole unit back onto the edge of the table, minus anyone that's attached to it. And then every model in the command troop or infantry troop unit can have expendable 1 for +1 point per model. So with those providences of war, gentlemen, what did y'all kind of come up with as a neat idea to build your armies?
Can I go counter to everything you just said?
Sure.
The Providence Award had no bearing on the army that I built. And after I built said army, there's only one Providence that made any type of sense, and that was the Survivors of the Dark Age.
Okay.
Mainly because, I mean, I'm trying to find my, there we go. Looking for the list, I didn't realize we were going to be going this far. But I took I think the easiest way to say it is an all mechanized list. That's an easy way of putting it. I did, well, what was it? Force Commander or whatever that name is. Force Commander? Yeah, Force Commander. Mount it. I took some Discipline Master Cadres. I mounted them too. Also gave one model the Officer Line. And then I took... not that. I'm trying to find it. It's the mechanized or mounted or
the cavalry wing.
There we go. One of those. Yeah, I took one of them. Even though it seems from the flavor test, it sounds like it's a motorcycle group, a motorcycle gang.
It can be either.
I envision horseback, so much mounted horseback. And then I took a shit ton of tanks.
How many is a shit ton?
If it would load right now, I would tell you. But I took that special, whatchamacallit, detachment that they have here, the Apex detachment that has, I I want to say 7 armor spots and 1 super heavy. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't want to take the super heavy, but on new recruit, it doesn't have it when you're building an army where you can add on a separate Lord of War from a different faction. You can only take a Lord of War from that faction, especially since they just literally got the militia up and going. I think it was like 7 days ago, if that. 6 days ago. So it's kind of not complete, but it was complete enough for me to make my list. So I had 7 Lehman Rushes. I think I added on extra 3 Malcador with a regular detachment. I had on 4 10-man horseback cavalry people things. I think I gave them lances because I was looking. It was more a style choice than it was anything else. I think a couple of the Lehman Rushes had the big guns on the front of them that goes boom if you don't move. The long ones, not the short ones, not the medium ones. The long ones. They're about this long.
Demolisher.
Yeah, there we go. No, isn't that the short one?
That's the thick and short one. Vanquishers are the long and skinny.
Yeah.
This had length, no girth. All length, no girth.
Vanquishers.
Yeah, had a couple.
And Jack is familiar with neither of these things.
They call me Mr. Cheese Will for a reason. Remember that. Oh, there it is. This army is at 2850 right now because I don't know what still half the stuff does, because that PDF has a lot of words in it.
It does.
And no pictures at all. Somebody should talk to that PDF's manager. That's all I'm saying. But yeah. Oh wait, I actually captured everything that I did. Holy smokes, Batman! So what I like about this is that I have a lot of tanks and a lot of horsies running around.
Cool. Yeah, it's definitely something I've thought about. I've got some different ways to mount guys that I've been looking at for some of my armies. Just be careful when you're looking at the list because the Apex detachments, you really only get the one after the force commander, and you either take the cavalry wing or you take the armored phalanx.
I took the armored phalanx and I added on where I had the ability to take 3 auxiliary detachment. 2 are the recon ones, and then 1 is the armor breakthrough, not armor breakthrough, heavy armor support, armor.
Yeah, when you get access, and we'll just talk about this with the discipline masters. When you get access to those guys, you can add in a bunch of officer line through those and get you the ability to take enough detachments that sometimes you don't need access to the Apex detachments if you don't want to.
That sounded like a lot of reading. And as Duncan always liked to tell people, I don't read.
No, he just points and says, "What's that say?"
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I refuse to make Duncan a liar.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I appreciate that.
I will say that some of these provenances they have some distinct potential with certain let's go 40K armies.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
There's some Admech-y ones for sure, or Scutari, because it's 40K. And then there's one that popped out to me that was like just straight up Gene Stealer cult.
Yep.
Okay. And then as you said, there's that one that's the Arbites. The Industrial Living one was the Gene Stealer. I kind of got that. Yep. And then there's Ogun Provost. The Provost, yeah. And then what was the other one that kind of sparked that little thing? Is it the Voidborn? The drop army?
Yeah.
I was like, that's like hell. What do you call it?
Helldivers.
and Helldivers right there. When going over that one, I was like, oh yeah, that's it right there.
There were two that I really liked, and I was trying to figure out a way to make it work, and I kind of got it to work, but I didn't make an army list for it. But combining, hold on, I gotta open up the PDF. Combining Abhuman Muster with, I think it's Kinfolk Helots, not to make Beastmen, which it all with Abhuman Muster, but trying to do that then as Thunder Warriors, because I thought that would be a really cool way to represent the fact that they're not as good as Marines, that they were never as good as Marines, but they're still fairly brutal. They're still strength 4, they're still toughness 4 this way. They still have access to all the close combat weapons that they would have had based on the history and everything coming up before the Crusade. Because I've always been fascinated by the Thunder Warriors, and a number of years ago, I backed a Kickstarter by Os30K, who did some Thunder Warrior miniatures, and they're great STLs, and I would love to find some way to use them someday. And seeing the way this works and the way that stuff is on there, that could be an easy way to do that. And I thought that'd be really cool to do those and be able to say, these
I
are
like
Thunder
that, but I would probably do that. I would probably use the actual Thunder Warriors as Ogrins in that list.
See, the Thunder Warrior models on there are about the same size as a Marine. They're not the same size as an Ogre.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. The other one you could look at is the +1 save.
Yeah, that was another one. I also looked at the Feral Warriors one for them.
Yeah.
The only reason I went with the idea for using the Kinfolk Helots was because it did drop their initiative. It dropped their movement because they were gene bulky. So it also gives them heavier armor, which fits because they are bulkier dudes and they get access to the Grenadiers then who have the 3-up armor save. So it definitely lets you kind of get a Thunder Warrior-esque vibe to them. At least that's the way it felt best to me. I wasn't sure on the strength part, but the Abhuman one, it fits just purely for having the strength buff for them being these big hulking brutes of men who were stronger than Marines, but weren't as good as Marines. So
yeah, and the assault shield also allows you to take the shield trait, so that way you can still do the toughness boost.
Yeah,
if you wanted to do that.
So I thought that was a pretty neat way of doing it. So, kind of a fan. I liked it.
What you, Brian?
I didn't actually sit down and make a list, but perusing through, I think I would go with the Grenadier Apex detachment and build a force that's kind of themed around U.S. Armored Cavalry mounted in Bradleys. I don't know what I would use to represent the transports. It could either be rhinos or maybe something a little bit better. I haven't looked at all the other options. And then take a lot of Lehman Russes as a heavier fire support role. So I could easily see this being a combination of I believe Armory of Old Knight. Need to scroll back up to it. And Survivors of the Dark Age, I believe.
Yeah, Armory gives them Volkite and +1 save. And Survivors gives them auto repair and rhinos or termites or land raiders.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I could see that working. Roll back.
Is Brian breaking up for anyone else?
A little bit. He's coming back in.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I don't think it was Legacy of the Great Crusade.
I will say this, and I don't mean to break in on Brian there, but I am really impressed by how much work they put into all of those provinces of war.
Yeah.
The fact
Yep.
that you can combine 2 of them together, I wish there was a way to combine 3, because I think you could really make some outstanding, interesting, flavorful armies there. But combining 2 gets you so much that's just fun and could be neat ways of doing things. It's just really nicely done. It's if they expanded it out further with different units, I could really see this being its own book and having so many examples out there from various people who have built armies like yourself, John, or people who have done like Beastmen armies or zombie armies for Heresy. I think would be really awesome to see things like that.
Yeah, you've got 19 of them to choose from. I came up with I can't remember now because I'm using my phone for talking. I don't want to move it, so it was screw with the thing. I came up with the one of the lists I was working on had Ogren conscripts and another one. I hadn't kind of finished that list out yet because it was mainly just trying to bulk Ogrens. But the first one was Legacies of the Great Crusade and Armory of the Old Knight. So I get the +1 ballistic skill bonus as well as +1 save, and then I've got all the Volkite stuff to choose from and rotor cannons. And I swap out all the basic infantry weapons to last rifles for the +1 point, just because they're a little better than the militia rifles. If you're standing still, you get a 30-inch shot versus a 24-inch shot. And the +1 ballistics go with Volkite weapons, and a 10-man heavy weapon team of all Volkite culverins is spitting out a lot of shots. Jamie, did you pick a couple?
I didn't. I haven't had a whole lot of free time.
Okay, no problem.
I'm reading through the actual units and stuff like that, and I'm definitely seeing like, oh yeah, this could be this and this could be that, and just
Yeah, when
Oh
you're
yeah.
so when you're
re-
building a list, you obviously kind of want to start with the force commander.
Yeah.
They have access to the militia officer weapons, and that could be anything from a Paragon blade for 15 points all the way up to pretty much most of the things that Marines are going to have access to. So they have access to the officer weapons and the melee weapons. When you're looking at the war gear list, the militia armaments is what most of your troop squads are going to be picking from. They have access to the militia rifle, militia carbine, or militia shotgun, or some of your providences will change up what you can access there. He's your only dedicated high command unit. Your command units are discipline masters, so these are a lot like old-timey commissars. Like Jack built his army, you can take him in mounted or unmounted versions. Same with the force commander, could be mounted or unmounted. With the discipline masters, you can buy them in units up to 6 strong, and they can take officer weapons or melee weapons. One model in each of the units. I don't want to. I guess it says units, but it's like a selection of the 6 can be upgraded to officer to line for 20 points. So that allows you to take a bunch of detachments for just a few elite units, or command units. So if you want, you can just take the one, give him officer to line, and take that the 3 times to get access to 6 extra detachments for only 50 points a model. So it's pretty cheap. Their 2 special rules are among the ranks, which is what allows you to kind of detach them and then to put them anywhere you want to, and then instill order. So instead of suffers a leadership check or a cool check, if you fail that, you just take D3 wounds at damage 1, AP 2. You can't take any saves of any kind. And then you are allowed to remove 1 of the tactical statuses from the models in that unit. So basically, after you've already kind of gotten your statuses, you can just kill off some D3 people and immediately remove those statuses as you want. The other command types are command troops. So this is 1 militia lieutenant, 4 bodyguards. You can buy up to 5 extra bodyguards. And you can replace the bodyguards with grenadier bodyguards if you want. That's just for a save upgrade and that's really it, is the save upgrade. This is kind of going to function as your kind of medium command unit as was before. They have access to special weapons. So 1 bodyguard could take a special weapon. They can also take officer weapons. They also have access to melt-a-bombs. They can have the militia standard, which allows you to stop running backwards. And then they can also have militia Vox as well. Any model in the unit can swap out for militia assault weapons. So this allows you to take a whole 9-man unit with delta guns. Then there's also the mounted command troop, which would just be the same thing but on horseback. And they can take lances or power weapons. If they don't take that, then they can take the special weapons. And then there's rogue psychers. So this is, if you're loyalist, you're only going to get 1 psychic power. If you're a traitor, you can obviously select that providence that allows you to get 2 of them. You can buy biomancy for 20, or all the other psychic powers are 10 points apiece, and they actually have access to their own psychic power specialty called the Anathema Discipline. You gain Fear 1, you gain the Void Dart Psychic Weapon, which is 18-inch range, firepower D6, Strength 5, AP 4, Damage 1, Shred 5 up, and Force is D. So if you do the Psychic Tech, you can increase your damage to 2. If you're loyalist, you can Seal the Veil. So this allows you to spend 1 psychic point or 1 reaction to make a charge. What the heck? Step 3 of the charge feature. If you're traitor, you get Breach the Veil, which allows you to summon in demons. If you're loyalist, you get Seal the Veil, which allows you
Sealing the Veil lets you have bonuses to your charge attack.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Why the hell do they call it Seal the Veil? That's kind of dumb.
The target unit must be the unit that is making the charge that triggered the reaction. The effects of this are resolved immediately once it's done. The target unit cannot make it's a counter charge. Cannot make a setup move of more than 1 inch when a charge roll is made. The highest dice is discarded instead of the lowest. So basically, it lets you not get charged by something nasty.
Yep. Could be pretty handy if someone's dropping demons on you. I guess that's the way that's worded. Grenadiers are your basic stormtroopers. So this is a unit of 10, and it can be upgraded to 10 more. So one thing to remember is we were talking about irregulars earlier. Every unit we've talked about, apart from even the Force Commander, is irregular so far. So every one of these is going to get bonuses for your stuff. The things that don't have irregulars in this army are going to be things like the Ogrins, the Militia Beast, the beasts in the Beast unit don't have it, and also the fire support troops do have it, and the rapier guns do not. So when it comes to rapier guns, it's a little weird because the gun itself shoots, not the people. So you're not going to get the +1 ballistic skill bonus when you're buying your providences we talked about earlier. The Grenadiers have access to free assault shields. They can have militia shotguns for +1 point, or militia melee weapons, militia pistols. They can buy bayonets, and 2 of them can be upgraded to special weapons, and the sergeant has the ability to upgrade to officer weapons. And they can also have a Vexilla and a Vox. Ogrins are really where the weirdness comes in. So they have access to all the weapons you kind of see on the typical GW Ogren kit. The base unit is 3 Ogrens, and you can buy up to 7 additional Ogrens at 30 points per model. If your unit is 5 or more models, you can upgrade one of those to an Ogren boss, and this allows you to get a better leadership, cool, and allows you to take some of the upgrades that we're going to talk about in a bit. Anyone can swap out their Ripper gun for a stub cannon for free or a power maul for 5 points. If you bought that boss, you can swap out the Ripper gun to a heavy bolter for free, a heavy flamer, or autocannon for 5 points, or a thunder hammer for 10 points. And then if you want to, you can buy assault shields for 3 points. And remember, that can be upgraded if you take the Ogren Providence to a boarding shield for an additional 2 more points. They can also buy bayonets for the Ripper gun if they don't lose it, and they can also take a Vexilla. There's nothing in this edition. Last edition, there was stuff about certain units couldn't join Ogrens. In this edition, I don't see anything that says the Discipline Masters can't join these guys, and medics can join these guys as well. So you can have a unit of Ogrens with add-ons this time.
One thing I thought that I noticed when I was looking through this was Ogrens don't seem to be affected by most of the provinces. So you don't get to like really buff their stats up to like strength 6 or toughness 6 with the provinces because they don't have the irregulars rule at all.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of why they did that irregulars thing. Before, they used to have like a giant list of units that the provinces did and didn't work on, and it was really confusing.
Okay. Well, I mean, having that single rule just kind of makes it more fun and more, I guess, simplified comparatively.
Yeah, it's just when you're building your list, it's just something you have to look out for. Especially what I found is I keep the PDF up on one monitor, and then the detachments up on that same monitor in a different window, and then the third monitor has got new recruit up, so that way I can kind of go back and forth trying to remember what's got what rules. The next heavy assault unit is the Beastmaster Troop. It comes with 3 militia handlers. You can take up to 7 additional militia handlers for 8 points apiece. And then for each militia handler of the unit, you can have a Mastiff, Felidae, a Cayman, or a Raptor. These are obviously kind of supposed to be tied into the tag-along units that are in Necromunda. The Cayman is obviously a big crocodile. He's got the better toughness. The Felidae is the cat that the Escher have access to. The Felidae and the Raptors, which are kind of like a bird unit, the Raptors have the highest move, the Felidae has the second highest move, and then the Mastiffs, the Caymans, and the Handlers all have move 6. In this one, the regulars are only the militia handlers, and the Cayman is heavy, whereas the Raptors are anti-grav. I don't know how that's going to work. Rules-wise, will be a little interesting when it comes to interacting anti-grav, half anti-grav, half not anti-grav in the unit. The handlers get access to the militia armaments.
I think it'd be kind of hard to have your cat having a pistol, so yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it was like written weirdly with last edition. I think some people believed it could. The Felidae and the Raptors get impact initiative, and the Mastiff and Cayman get impact strength. So that means on the charge, the Cayman is strength 6.
You heard it here first, folks. You're going to get charged by John's pet crocodile in the game. I can already see it happening.
I don't have any Beastmaster units for these. I have it for my sisters, the Silence. But
John, I mean, come on.
I know. I need to build a unit of Crocmasters.
I mean, it fits. Come on.
Yeah. The basic troops in this army is where you're going to do most of your scoring. So the infantry troop is just a 20-man unit for 90 points. They are guardsman stats as you expect, 3s across the board, and a 5-up save. Any one of them can swap out their weapons for the militia armaments list. The sergeant can swap up to a power weapon for 5 points. And they can take a Vexilla and a Vox. One of the models in the unit can access a special weapon. You can have crack grenades for the whole unit for 10 points, or you can buy bayonets for the unit if you want. kind of as it stands, this is where you're going to be pulling most of your upgrades from if you're looking at most of the units from the provinces. The other basic troop unit is the levy troops. This starts out as 20 guys for 80 points. You can buy an additional 30 guys for 5 points a model, and you can replace one of them with a warden for plus 5 points.
This is where you
These
get that
guys-
zombie horde for heedless.
Yeah, exactly. And they're weapon skill 2, ballistic skill 2, and then the rest of them are 3s. Except their leadership is 5. So I would definitely put a discipline master in here if you want them to be doing anything. The downside is, though, they're expendable 3s, so they're not going to be capturing a lot of points. They come stock with the militia rifle, which they can get a every model in the unit can get a bayonet at plus 10 points for the whole unit. Mostly, I think bayonets are useless, but the cheap as these guys are, 10 points per unit to get bayonets, probably not that terrible. And they can buy Vexilla and Voxes as well. This edition, I'm pretty much thinking that Vexillas or Voxes are a must, and Vexillas are a probably, depending on what you're doing. The support units is really where they've padded out this army. So the first option is 1 Medicae per support choice. And this gives you the Medic 5-up, which allows you access to the Medic reaction for 20 points a model. The next one is Fire Support. This is your heavy weapons teams. You get 3 teams for 50 points, and then you have to buy the guns. And you can add an additional 7 members for 15 points per model. These guys are irregulars, and they're bulky 3. They have T3 and 2 wounds apiece. I'm really glad they took out doubling out. And they can buy a Vox. The next one up is the Rapiers. You get 1 Rapier crew, and you can buy an additional 3 crews, or 1 crew for 40. You can buy 3 more for 35. And each crew is 2 gunners and 1 carrier. Again, in this instance, the irregulars are the gunners, and the carrier itself is not irregular. So if you're buying that ballistic skill upgrade, you are not going to get the bonus on shooting the rapier cannon itself. There's also access to the field gun battery. This is the Cadian field guns that they added. They're on, I think it's 80 millimeter bases. They come stock with a Calliope mortar. They're T4 with 3 wounds, otherwise basic cards and stats. They are irregular, so you will get that +1 ballistic skill bonus if you bought that. Providence. They can upgrade the mortar to a Thunderblast battle cannon for 10 points or a heavy last cannon for 15, and they can also take a Vox. And I'm happy to see the heavy ordnance battery at 85 points, 1 gun and 3 militia gunners, which you can upgrade to 5 additional gunners at +6 points per model. And it comes stock with the Earthshaker cannon, which you can swap to a siege mortar or heavy rocket bombard for free, a siege cannon for +5, a heavy quad mortar for +15, and a Medusa mortar for +15. And these guys, the crew are irregulars. The gun is not. And in this instance, the gun shoots itself, just like both the rapier crew. So you're not getting the ballistic skill bonus on this, but you're lobbing pie plates at people, so you're not going to need the ballistic skill bonus, really.
Hang on a second. The siege cannon on that is strength 9, AP 4, 4D. You're not going to move it, so it's going to become AP 3, and it's got blast 3 and so on. Jesus, they're just throwing around. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, that's 90 points base. I would buy the extra 5 crew, but yeah, it's I'm glad artillery got a bump in this edition. And yeah, like you said, there is no movement on the gun carriage itself. So you
So
kind
it
of want to
sits
set
there,
these
and
up
then you give it some horrifying gun, and you're just lobbing shells that are AP 3 or better.
Mm-hmm. I am really happy that I built 6 of these suckers. The gun has T7 and 4 wounds. Next up in the Dreadnought slot is the Sentinel Patrol. This is completely different from the Solar Rock Sentinels. This is the Guard Sentinel right out of the box. So you get 1 Scout Sentinel for 40. You can take 4 more for 35 points apiece. And you can upgrade all of them to Armored Sentinels for plus 10 points a model. The Armored Sentinel, the Scout Sentinel is movement 10, the Armored Sentinel is movement 8. Otherwise, the Scout Sentinel's T5, Armored Sentinel's T6. Scout Sentinel's 3 wounds, Armored Sentinel's 4 wounds. It has 1 less initiative, 3 and 2. And pretty much all the other stats are the same, except for leadership and cool are better on the Armored Sentinel. They have a 3-up save. They have to buy a gun. Could either be a multi-laser, heavy flamer, autocannon, missile launcher, last cannon, multi-melta, or plasma cannon. And they can also buy a 1 hunter killer missile, a smoke launcher, and a sentinel chain blade for 10 points. These are light walkers, light skirmish for the scout, and just skirmish for the armored sentinel. And they have outflank on the scout sentinels. I think these guys are pretty neat if you want to just outflank or kind of run up the field with a bunch of multi-meltas or something if you're trying to character hunt. Transports, they have access to most of the things you're probably going to imagine here as far as the Arvis lighter is concerned. So this is what we call it, Jack, did you call it the duck? The fat bird, movement 18, ballistic shield 3.
Oh, the
transport.
Yeah, GW referred to it in the video as the little pig.
Yeah.
It's
transport capacity 12. So if you're going Ogren heavy, you're not going to fit a bunch of these guys in there. You're only going to fit 3 in there, which is the minimum squad size if you want to go crazy. 4 hull points. It's a flyer transport. You can buy flare launchers for 5 points, which gives you a 5-up invulnerable save against interceptor reactions. Or you can buy a rear hull mounted multi-laser for 10 points. What's really cool is these guys also have access to all of the other Necromunda vehicles. So the first one up is the Militia Utility Hauler for 55 points. It can be upgraded to an Armored Hauler for plus 30. The Cargo Hauler is movement 12, BS3, 10, 10, 9 for armor, 4 hull points, and a transport capacity of 22.
No armor value below 10. Wow.
Yeah, and 3rd line, remember?
Yeah.
So it's the death trap.
Yeah.
Actually, no, this doesn't have
fire.
This doesn't have 3rd line.
Watch out. Watch out, boys. You're going to need melta bombs for this one.
Yeah.
Once it punched through the armor. If you upgrade it to the Armored Hauler, it goes down to on movement 10, but the front armor becomes 11. It gets 5 hull points to 4, and you lose 2 of your transport capacity, making it 20. The downside is these things only have 1 access point, which is rear facing. This is supposed to be the armored,
the souped up semi truck.
Yeah, the souped up semi truck, or you can add in the transport container to make it the armored transport semi truck.
I think a semi truck actually has more armor than this.
It probably does.
You can buy these things any of the militia pinto weapons, or if you have the armored version, you can buy 3 pinto weapons.
So this is like is like a gassed transport, essentially.
Yeah, it's the technical, except without a gun. It's the Toyota Hilux of vehicles. The other one is the industrial mining rig. So this is right now, it's the Forge World mining rig, which is available for Necromunda. It is 65 points, or it can become the Explorator rig for plus 40. It's movement 10, ballistic skill 3, 11, 11, 10 with 5 hull points and a transport capacity of 12. The Explorator rig is movement 8, and it's 12, 12, 10, 6 hull points and armor value 12. This guy gets, the Explorator gets auto repair of 5 up, and it is considered a light transport. Special rules. It comes with they both come with a twin heavy flamer on a turret mount, and the Explorator rig comes with an extra hull mounted heavy flamer. and dozer blades and searchlights. The mining rig can swap out its heavy flamer for an turret-mounted Gravis autocannon, heavy seismic cannon, or heavy mining laser, but not the Explorator rig. It's just stuck with those two heavy flamers, or heavy flamer and heavy stubber.
This is all like stuff that you would use for Gene Stealer Cult.
Yeah. It has access points on both sides and rear. And it can take pinto weapons. The only heavy transport they have is out of print, the Gorgon Transporter. For 275 points, you get a movement 10, 14, 13, 11, 10 hull point, 45 transport capacity assault vehicle with third line.
I mean, it's like one of the I mean, that's basically what it was before. Is super high front armor, massive transport capacity, rolls across the field, literally just opens up the ramps and pours them out.
It lost the before it had a special rule where if you shot it on the front, it got an invulnerable save. That's gone. It comes stock with 2 twin heavy stubbers and a hull front-mounted Gorgon mortar battery, which you can swap for 4 sponson-mounted heavy stubbers, or 4 sponson heavy flamers, or 4 sponson heavy bolters. If you want to cause the panic checks, 4 heavy flamers on that fat boy are definitely going to do it.
For 295 points.
Mm-hmm.
I know 2 people from South Texas that have quite a few of those.
Yeah, I know those same guys. I think we all do.
With 45 transport capacity, this can take a full 10-man unit of Ogrins plus attachments. And I've got two parts to build them. So I'm thinking about Gorgon or Ogrins and Gorgons.
It can't quite drop off an entire full levy unit, but it's close.
Right. Yeah.
It's close.
I don't know what those levies will do when they're close, other than die really fast.
I don't know, man. I mean, 50 dudes with a rifle, you might kill a Marine or 2.
Hey, man.
You'll definitely just sit on that point and say, "Move me."
The corn doesn't care where the blood flows from. He just cares that it flows.
They've got 2 recon choices. The first is reconnaissance troop. Comes with the sergeant and 4 scouts. They can take 5 more scouts for 8 points apiece. Base unit is 50. Again, basic guardsman stats. They come with shotguns, which they can swap for militia armaments. Up to 5 models in the unit can swap their shotguns for long rifles, which are not as good as sniper rifles, as nemesis rifles. They can take Vox, and the sergeant can have melt-the-bombs. They get infiltrate 9. They are irregulars, and they have move through cover. And they have support unit 2. And they have smokescreen. Their other recon choice is Jack's favorite, the cavalry troop. For 60 points, you get a sergeant and 4 outriders. And for 10 points apiece, you can buy 5 more outriders. These guys are base move 12 with guard stats, but 2 wounds apiece and 2 attacks base. They come stock with a pistol they can swap out for anything in the militia armaments list, or one of the models in the unit can have a special weapon. The sergeant can have anything in the officer weapons list, and they can have a Vexilla or melt-the-bombs. They also have Vanguard 3, Impact Strength, Implacable Advance, Outflank, and Firestorm. And they're bulky 3, so they can go in transports if you want to do your Gorgon with horses.
And you can throw militia lances on there. Nothing but militia lances.
Yeah, or 1 militia lance, for 5 points a model.
Yep.
The downside is the lance is a 1-use item, so if you're not getting it done on that first combat, you're kind of SOL.
It doesn't seem to be 1 use according to the rules anymore.
Oh, okay. I thought it was. All right. Cool. They also have access to a couple of different other Necromunda choices that are in the fast attack slot. So they have an all-terrain patrol quad. The quad is 20 points. You can have 4 additional quads at 18, or you can upgrade it to a trike for plus 5 points. The quad is movement 10, basic guardsman stats except for T4, 3 wounds, and 2 attacks. The trike is movement 12, T4, 2 wounds, and 1 attack. Both of them have firing protocols 2. The quad doesn't come with anything stock. The trike comes with 2 combi bolters. The quads can take 1 item from the heavy weapons list. The trike can swap its combi bolters for heavy stubbers. Or the trike can also swap out the combi bolters for 2 melt-a-guns at 20 points apiece.
These are for those of you who still have the old squat models like myself, where you can throw them down and just be like, yep, I'm old.
Well, the trike is that, or you can, if you buy the Gene Stealer Cult motorcycle box, it comes with the it's not a trike, it's a 4-wheeler, but it has a heavy weapon on the back of it.
You have a bike that's the Jackal F Alfarius, and then you have the there's a quad. It's actually a squad of them. Of course, it's out of stock. Alaton Jackals. It's like,
and you're going to need a lot of those bikers if you're going to run a mounted army, so you'll have a few extra quads left over. Oh, it is the quad that has the heavy weapon, the special weapon, or heavy weapon, sorry.
It has a special weapon on it.
Yeah.
All
special weapon or heavy weapon.
Yeah.
The other option is the Militia Venator Scout Rover at 35 points, which can be upgraded to a Militia Ridge Runner for 10 points. The Venator is movement 16, 10, 10, 10, 3 hull points. The Ridge Runner is 14 movement, 11, 10, 10. The Venator, which is the faster one, has a Pintle twin heavy stubber and smoke launchers. The Ridge Runner has a hull front-mounted twin heavy stubber and smoke launchers. The Venator may swap its heavy stubbers for twin multi-lasers, twin seismic cannons, or twin las cannons. This is the one that comes in the Palatines from... The Venator is the one that comes from the RBDs from Necromunda, or the Elysians had access to it as well. The Ridge Runner can select any of the heavy weapons. And if you do, it becomes pintle mounted. It can also buy 2 Hunter killer missiles, or it can have searchlights.
So, like, the Elysians or whatever there was a 6-wheeled and a 4-wheeled version of those, and then the Gene Stealer Cult has a pretty cool one too as well.
Yeah, it's just the 4-wheeled one. That's the one I turned into my Carnodons.
Yep.
They also have access to the Thunderbolt fighter.
Yep. They don't have the Avenger though. I saw there. I did notice that.
It's missing its missiles. I saw, and it's got the centerline twin las cannon and 2 centerline autocannon, Gravis autocannon.
For 110 points, that's not bad with that movement and its guns.
Yeah, and it is 3rd line, whereas all of the other stuff, the quads, the Venators, are not 3rd line. And then the heavy support, where Jack shines. The Militia Lehman Russ for 130 points base. He comes with a battle cannon and heavy bolter. You can swap the battle cannon for an Gravis autocannon, twin las cannon, Vanquisher cannon with heavy stubber,
all the normal
plasma destroyer,
Lehman
or
Russ
just
stuff.
Demolisher cannon. And then you can upgrade the heavy bolter to a heavy flamer multi-laser autocannon las cannon.
No sponsors for it though.
No, they got responses last edition.
Yep. So if you're buying rebuilt stuff off of eBay, just pop those sponsons off. You also have access to the Malkador heavy tank, but not any of its variants, like the ones I'm building, Valdor or the Infernus. So it comes with a heavy 170, gets you a movement 12, 13, 13, 11, 7 hull point, 3rd line, with a battle cannon, heavy bolter, and sponson multi-lasers. You can swap the battle cannon for twin las cannons, a Vanquisher cannon. You can swap the Heavy Bolter for Heavy Flamer, Multi-Laser Autocannon, Last Cannon, or a Demolisher Cannon. And the sponsons can be swapped for Heavy Flamers, Heavy Bolters, Autocannons, or Last Cannons. And then Independent Fire is what allows you to make multiple shooting attacks without having to snapshot. And then they have access to the Baneblade Super Heavy Battle Tank for 500 points. It's more expensive and worse than the one in the auxiliary book. Movement 10, 14, 13, 12, 16 hull points. Third line. You get the Baneblade Cannon, Coaxial Autocannon, Centerline Demolisher, front hull or front twin heavy bolter and smoke launchers. No sponson stock, which you can buy. The usual Last Cannon and heavy bolters or twin heavy bolters is 40 points for 2, or you can do the Last Cannon and twin heavy flamers for 40.
Yeah, I would change that out for a Stormhammer any day of the week. Mainly because I have a Stormhammer.
I'm surprised I didn't get access to the Malkador with the 5 heavy bolters on top.
Yeah.
The pillbox. Yeah.
Yeah, no one has access to that thing. It's just disappeared.
Well, is that a good place to stick a pin in it tonight, and we can do a part 2 later?
Well, let's finish up. They got a couple more things. They have a special reaction called Go to Ground. So when you're shot, as long as you're not bulky, you can burn a reaction point to gain a 6-up cover save for the rest of the shooting phase. And that's really their only special reaction. They also have access to the medic, shield wall, and smoke screen that everyone else has access to. So it's definitely an interesting list. I like a lot of what I'm seeing in here, especially with access to the way you can build it. You're obviously going to be padding support. It seems to be where they seem to shove a lot of units into the support options. In fact, their Apex detachment is, I think it's 6 support options that can't be medics. I'm sorry, it's 8 support options. One of them is a prime for the artillery division. So if you're going to build a militia list, I would definitely make sure to keep in mind that most of those providences of war don't affect do affect irregulars. So keep an eye on what's irregular and what's not. And then also your war gear list. Most people have access to the militia armament, so anything that adds Volkites to that or rotor cannons to the special weapons, pretty much don't think of the war gear list of just being access to special units. It's pretty much everyone has access to different pieces of that war gear list, unlike Marines where it was just the officers or just the special troopers that could access it. It's pretty much everybody can access that war gear table.
So that's pretty much the end of it then.
57 pages. Like I said, I've already updated the Google Doc with all those special weapons and all of the melee weapons and special rules that are special to this PDF. So that way you can scroll through that instead of having to jump back and forth to this PDF.
Sounds good. I don't think at this point we're going to need a part 2, Jack.
Outstanding.
Do we want to go back to Legions or do we want to cut our demons next week?
Let's go ahead and do the demons since they are out. Let's just get them out of the way before we go back to the regular Legions.
Okay.
I don't know of any events other than there's a Heresy event at the Battle Forge in Lexington, Kentucky to do a shout out for. That's going on the 27th of September. That's for the Kentucky 30K group.
On the 20th, I have my usual event. Dallas Games Marathon, like I said, is currently relocating, and so we've moved to a nearby Hilton. It's literally like a mile up the road, so it's right off of 75 in Plano, Texas. I went ahead and posted that to our Facebook group, but it's also in the North Texas Heresy Facebook group.
Sounds good. I know the Ferrix has one coming up, and I believe it was Bama Heresy has something coming up.
I think the Bama Heresy in October is also sold out.
Yep, so they sold out that event, so that's good for them. I don't know of any other events. Bri, you got any events coming up there around you?
Michigan GT, the last day to buy tickets is tomorrow, Monday the 15th, but the Heresy event, the main Heresy event is sold out. I believe there's still tickets available for the big mega battle thing Saturday night. That's October 3rd through 5th.
Cool. I don't think we got anything else for tonight, folks. Thank you all for joining us.
Looked it up. So the Heresy event for Fearx is going to be on November 14th, 15th, and 16th. And that's at the Overland Park Convention Center in Kansas.
Cool.
Stats are on the Taking a Fearx page or the North Texas Horse Heresy page on Facebook.
Dig it.
As far as the Michigan GT stuff goes, the online sale of tickets ends tomorrow, but you can still buy tickets at the event. We typically will have a couple no-shows for any of the Heresy events, so if you do happen to be in the area and couldn't get a ticket, didn't want to buy a ticket right away, you could just do a walk-up, and there's probably will be room for you.
Dig it.
And then my tickets are still available for January on Eventbrite. So that's January 16th, 17th, and 18th at wherever DOS Games Marathon eventually ends up.
Sounds good. John, you want to go ahead and take us out?
Yeah, so everybody, definitely been a hell of a week, but thank y'all for joining us on this, the 141st episode of Heresy Accountability Buddies. Always remember, be accountable to yourselves, to your buddies, and your hobby, and be nice to each other. Have a good night. I've been joined by...
Words to live by.
Yep. I'm John, and I've been joined by...
Brian.
Duncan.
I think my name is Jack.
And Jamie.
And we'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
There you go.
Like and subscribe and see ya.